Waiting for us to be live.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Welcome. Happy Saturday. And we're
Hello.
back. So, tonight we are talking about a little bit of a heavier topic. I am your host, Kristen Nicole Mann, and this is the No or Never podcast. And I have a special guest tonight, my mother.
Donna
And
Mann.
you want to introduce yourself.
My name is Donna Mann.
So, tonight we are talking about her new book. It has been a grind to get this out because it is coming against a lot. A lot
Yes.
of people that
Yes.
don't really know about this topic. So it's best to always keep reiterating the importance of knowing stuff like this. So we have been working on the book, trying to structure it on not necessarily blaming a person, but going after the spirit of this because the spirit is alive and well in a lot of people. And our topic is 3 signs you have been groomed by a narcissist. So we have this term that we've been hearing all across social media platforms. And yes, it is an uptick of people talking about it, but my mother had not an opportunity, but kind of an experience
Parents.
of
Yeah.
going through
Mhm.
this situation, which is very serious for people, and a lot of people wouldn't make it out on the other side. So this is just informational purposes. This is not to be anyone's psychologist or claim that they are, diagnose them with anything. This is just a conversation. So I want to get that out the way. But we will be giving you 3 signs that you may have been dealing with a person like this. So you want to just talk about why you wanted to necessarily put a book out because you could have just stayed quiet.
Well, actually, I wanted to put the book out because that's part of my healing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really just couldn't believe that um, such a person or spirit or whatever is behind all this. I never in a million years thought that I would have been entangled with a situation like this. And
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to write the book, because it was part of my healing. I had to journal, write to be healed. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that's why it's been taking so long to get the book out because it's not just some, like I said, it's something serious that you don't want.
Mhm.
You want to thoroughly explain this to people. You don't want to just say this is a situation. Sometimes people don't make it out of these circumstances. So when you have such a heavy topic like this, you want to make sure you're thorough about what experience you may have went through. And like my mom said with the journaling, writing it out could be a tough place because you don't want to rehash the thoughts or
Mhm.
take yourself back to that situation. So I'm going to start with the first sign that you may be dealing with a narcissist. And this is for romantic purposes, but there's also several other ways that you could be dealing with a narcissist. But tonight we're talking about relationship and romantic purposes only. So the first sign is excessive flattery.
Mhm.
Excessive flattery. And I'm going to put this in the comments like I always do, the notes. And what that means, I'm going to put it on the screen once it comes up. So, excessive flattery, excessive and insincere praise given especially to further one's own interests. So, could you explain, if you could remember, like what was the first form of flattery that you received?
Well, actually, the first form of um, flattery that I received was phone calls, and the person kept talking to me about different things, and really, he was really like talking about his past marriages, and like
Mm,
he was the victim. He
mm,
talked like he was the victim in those marriages, and you know, when I think about it, it should have been a lot of red flags, but I didn't. I just didn't see the red flags. I was just giving the person the benefit of the doubt because I had been widowed for uh, probably 8 years, and
mm-hmm.
before the 8 years, my husband was ill, and and stuff. So I'd been celibate probably about 11 years, 12 years. So
Like living your own life. Yeah.
yeah, just by my just living, yeah. And so the person just was saying a lot of little things like, he's ready for older woman and stuff like that, and then talking about, he just can't wait to, be with me, and and all these
Mm,
things, and he just went real fast. He talked really fast about everything, and one of the flattery things was he gave me a card, and he wrote a poem. you
mm.
know I just can't believe. But anyway, he wrote,
I'm taking myself out of this area.
he wrote
We
this
can laugh
poem.
now, but I'm
Yeah,
like,
but I wasn't laughing back then. But yeah, he
no.
wrote a poem and all that. But something I did notice, I might be jumping the gun. You know, this was all on on the cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm old. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about telephone, but all on the cell phone. Just talking, and just saying little things.
Yeah. Which leads to the next one. And these we're only giving you three. So, um, and the one thing I can say about anyone that's quick to give you excessive flattery, red flag. Red flag. Because it's not that
Right,
people can't give you flattery or praise you for what you do or who you are, but when they don't really know you, or you, let me retract that, when you don't really know them,
right.
because these kinds of people, they'll study you
They're
for a long
studying.
time.
Yeah.
You don't even notice that they're studying you, but they're
Right.
studying your ways. They
Mm-hmm.
might go on your social media
Yeah.
way before you even notice who they are in real life. They might have seen you out. They might have never even made themselves noticeable to you. So this is strategic groundwork that these people do sometimes to get into a relationship with particularly women, because we're more naive than men, but men go through this too. So they're not left out. But in this case, the book is really about the story of how you get to this point, because it's a process. Doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. So that leads to the next one. Love bombing. So the second sign is love bombing. Now, flattery and love bombing is not the same thing.
No. Mm-mm.
So again, they lay this they keep building upon this foundation. So the love bombing is an attempt to influence another person with over the top displays of attention and affection. So do you want to talk a little bit about what that looked like in your situation, because every situation could be different, but
Well,
what was your first signs of this
Well,
happening?
the first sign was when actually he came to see me, and it had been a while since I've been talking to him on the cell phone. So he came with, like, I think it was almost like my birth. It might have been my birthday. Yeah, it was. It was either Mother's Day or my birthday, and he brought a card, put money in it, and he also, I was kind of doing a business too. So he bought the most expensive thing that I had in my business, with some,
Mm-hmm.
products. He bought the most expensive product. And then he was always like, saying, well, and taking me out to eat, taking me out to eat, and just
Just
doing a lot,
doing things
just doing
outside of
things like,
knowing your
yeah,
love
just,
language.
yeah, like he was really interested in me, but really wasn't. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what he was doing, just, and actually using the Bible too, because he brought the Bible. He was like
I'm
quoting
sorry, I'm trying to.
scriptures, to me, and acting like he was, like, okay, I'm gonna teach you this lesson and all that. He used the Bible to love bomb me also. So yeah.
So how interesting, because again, everyone that watches this may not be a believer. The guy or woman might use something that is near and dear to your heart to love bomb you. So if if you desire flowers or something, and you might nonchalantly say, oh, it'd be nice to get flowers, they'll intentionally pay attention to that. Um, Especially in the beginning, for them to get into your world. Like they're
Right.
trying to get into not only your world, but your mind. So they use love bombing a lot in the beginning to bombard you to the
Mm-hmm.
point where you're almost like drunk. Like
You,
you're like,
you, you can't
oh
believe
my,
it.
yeah, like
You
you're
like,
like, oh my gosh, this person really
wow.
cared,
Mm-hmm.
wow, I never met
Yeah.
nobody like him.
Right,
Because
right.
I mean, although I didn't go to um marriage, this is not my story, so I'm not going to make it about me, but at the same time, they're all ages. I'll put it like that. They're all ages, and that's what the person did with me. They were like, I mean, it was overwhelming. So it was like, wow, nobody's ever done this, or you just couldn't remember if anybody ever paid attention to you like that. And they try to do this excessively in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and once they know that they have you, I'm not gonna jump ahead, but it's it's
All over.
it's on from there. So was there any other love bombing that you could think of that happened?
When I married him.
Well, was did it continue when you married him,
Well,
or did
yeah,
it cut off?
yeah. Just it sometimes to draw you back
Mm.
in. If
Oh.
like if you were like not going in the way that they wanted you to go, then here
Mhm.
we go again.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that leads to the third sign. Now, this one, this could be for a lot of things, but I'm going to put it in the comments so it can go on the screen. And that is manipulation. So our heads might be blocked a little bit, but
Hmm.
manipulation, one of the ways that narcissists manipulate is by playing on your emotions. They may try to make you feel guilty or ashamed to control you. Some examples of how this can look are they might say something like, "You're so selfish. How could you do this to me to make you feel guilty?" So what turn of events did you feel like the manipulation was starting to take place, or you felt it like almost like you recognized it late maybe, or did you? Like
Yeah,
how
I recognized it because I couldn't figure out what the person was doing. He would be like, he would say things, but in one breath, switch it up on you. He would say
mm,
things like, he would pretend that he's your best friend. You could ask him anything or whatever, and then he would just switch on you, and just kind of like say something else, and then you second guessing yourself, like, did he just say that? You know, he'll draw you in, and then almost like drop you,
mm,
just draw you in, and you in, and then it's just he just drop you,
cold.
like just go cold, no talking, or you know things like that, just stop talking, and you're like,
Mm.
um
So how going on further, when that happened a couple times, how did you feel?
I felt bad because
Yeah.
I really couldn't figure out what was happening. It was
Mm,
an eerie feeling because I'm looking at this person, but he's doing all these different things. You know,
yeah.
he's your friend one minute, and then under the next breath, he's not your friend, or, he's somebody else. But it was always, the like, for instance, never honoring my feelings about nothing.
Like
Nothing.
real dismissive.
Yeah, just nothing. Really, it was almost like I felt like nothing with this
Yeah.
person because never, celebrated me for nothing at
Mm-hmm.
all. I
Yeah.
I
And
just I just yeah.
I've heard other people say that with these type of relationships. And then again, I was in one, um not with Legend's dad, y'all, so don't start messaging him. I'm talking about somebody that came before him, but they was really cold. I just
Yeah.
remember like the coldness, and like you said, you can have a whole conversation and think everything's good, and then they would just
No,
like
go silent.
like like it didn't even matter.
Right.
And back then I didn't have the language. This is like 2010, 9. So nobody was talking about I mean, people may have been talking about it, but it wasn't like now. It wasn't
Yeah.
like now. But even with you having all the information out there, you still didn't know what was going on because you hadn't dealt with that
No, no.
in a
And
romantic sense.
right, right.
So how would you know, this was automatically like narcissism or narcissistic abuse? And like I said, this is not to diagnose anyone, but when things align with what is being said by
Mhm.
professionals, you
Right.
have to take into account like who's around you. Is this person good for me? Are they not? And so what was your practices to kind of keep you not keep you out of like feeling how he felt about you? Like, did you go out? Like, what was your
Oh,
way to cope with it?
well, I just kept doing things. I was busy. I just stayed busy, but he wasn't like with me. He started out at the beginning saying that
Mm,
if you plan something for us to do, then I will do it. He did that about 2 times, and that was the end of that. So, really, he just, it was just strange, very strange, very strange. That's why it has taken me so long to finish the book, because I had to relive this, and I would just have to just put the computer away, just put my laptop up, and I just had to just digress, because I just couldn't believe I had went through hell. That's what I call it, really, hell. I don't wish this on anybody. I mean, it was just horrible, just horrible. And sometimes I still think about it, but guess what? I have a feeling inside of me saying, I never want no parts of that person ever again. Never,
Yeah.
ever. So
Yeah.
it's no making up with me, none of that. Because
Yeah.
from the research, they don't want you anyway.
Mm-mm.
So they just was out to destroy you from the beginning. And remember, I was the fourth wife that this
Yeah.
guy had. And I just noticed on the papers that I'm looking at right now that he had just got a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you
And
just pick out?
what
Mhm,
that says though is, as that's another thing that happens, is that this is not one person that these people try to hurt. It's a repetitive pattern
multiple
of
people. Hmm.
people, their family, their
Hmm. Their family
co-workers,
too.
their
Yep.
um the romantic partners. They're like this with everyone in their life,
Hmm.
because it starts from, if you trace back to most of these type of people, they have a strained relationship with their parents. Like either
Hmm.
one parent, they had a tumultuous like relationship with them, and so they want to take it out
On
on
others.
everybody if they don't
Hmm.
heal.
Right.
Now, there's people that could heal from this, but they have to want to heal from
That's
this.
right. Right.
And you cannot change someone like this.
No.
You cannot change them.
No. No.
And
No.
that's
No.
unfortunately us women. We think, well, we give too many chances. We're like, oh, today's will be
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. I
if
would
I
never give it.
actually if I
Never
actually put more
ever.
sugar in the coffee, it
Mm,
won't be mad at me.
mm-mm.
Um, but I wanted to put this up here too, because the effects, like the after you have dealt with this person, you have higher risk of developing depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, and similar mental health problems.
Mhm.
So yes, you can get rid of the person, but
Right.
you may have an effect
Mental.
after that person leaves. And
Hmm.
it's mainly
In your
here,
head. Mental.
here,
Hmm.
because spiritually, this is what the person has operating in them. The spirit behind them wants to attack and break people down mentally.
Hmm.
So when you have the mental, that could be a lasting effect.
Right.
So what was some of the things that you did after, which I mean, you can tell a little bit of what happened, because we want you to really buy the book. I'm going to put that in the comments too. But what were some of the practices you did to help your mental health? Like, did you journal? Did you talk to someone? What were some of the things that helped
Well,
you personally?
well, the first thing I did, I left Henderson. I left. I drove.
Where
I
you live?
I left Henderson, and I went to Maryland. I called my brother in Maryland. I went to Maryland, and from Maryland, I went to New York. and I stayed away with, with people that cared about me for a little bit, and
Mm-hmm.
just got away from the situation,
Yeah.
the city that the situation happened. I
Mm-hmm.
just left, and what I did, I kept reading, and I kept really um, thinking about it, but I kept researching too. So I just kept researching and just listening to what the professional people were saying about different things, but I just kept doing what I was doing before, because when this person came into my life, I kind of shut down a little bit,
Mm.
like idle, kind of stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
because the person said that, he was a prophet, pastor, elder, whatever. But, so I kind of shut down a little bit. So
But
what?
can you give context before you go further? Can you give context to what that meant? Because again, you have to explain what he studied about you for people to understand why that was so sickly. You know,
Yeah,
what
well,
did you tell him per se for him to run off and lead with the religious stuff?
oh, that's because he must have found something out from talking with my brother or something, because
Mm-hmm.
I had seen him one time, and I was talking about biblical stuff, and the
Mm.
person keyed right in. Now, when I think about it, I remember plain as day how the person was standing there and was talking and started said, that's why I've learned not to talk so much now. That really has helped me not to talk around people too much,
Mm-hmm.
because he took whatever I said and he got a little bit more information, and he used that really against me, really, because
Yeah.
I thought that he was coming into this relationship with me to better himself, maybe in the ministry that he was saying he was a part of, but he really didn't want no part of me in none of that. I mean, it was all about him.
Mm-hmm.
He just wanted
And
to, you know, get praise from reading the Bible to a couple of people or whatever. I'm jumping the gun, but we were on a Bible study and all that. And he just wanted to puff himself up, and
well,
you
they're
know,
mainly about to give people context to that, they're about image. They're
right,
really big on image.
image.
So
Hmm.
whatever goal that they have,
In their
you
mind.
are, yeah, you're just a pawn in it. Like
Right. It's
you
almost
just
like
benefit.
chess. Yeah.
Right. You just benefit them because in my situation, I was watching this person build themselves. It sounds so crazy, but they were literally using that they had this girlfriend that worked at a law. Now this sounds so crazy. This girlfriend that worked at a law firm and like really used that to climb the corporate ladder. Like, but I was so blind to it that I didn't even know what was going on around me. I mean, was moving up in his job, he was building his credit. All these things were happening. And it's like the whole time he had a set time to break up with me.
Mm-hmm.
These people have set
A
times
set time.
when your time
Mhm.
is up. I mean, it was like you going along, you think you're helping someone, and then they're like, I don't need you no more. Bloop.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I'm moving on.
Right.
And it could be abrupt. But this
Yeah.
is why we're saying like this can have you could develop depression,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, post traumatic, because it's so abrupt. They're
Yeah.
breaking off from people romantically, can be so dismissive and overnight that
Right.
you don't even have time to catch up. Like, you're like, what did I just get myself into? And
Mm-hmm.
then you can blame yourself because of the three signs that we gave. You can start blaming yourself because they won't just leave you alone. They'll leave your environment, but they won't leave you alone
Right.
because they can still text you,
Mm-hmm.
they can still call, they can still be in the area you're in.
Right.
Mine's moved in my same apartment complex after he broke up with me.
Mm,
How sick.
mm.
You are coming to see me. You studied the whole area and then you like, I'm going to move in the same apartment complex,
Mm.
literally where you can see me go to work every day. I was like, I
Right.
look back now, I'm like, how something had to be wrong with you.
Yeah. They have
And
no
the funny
feelings.
thing, they have no feelings.
Mm-mm.
Um,
No empathy.
so
Nothing.
yeah, like so since you were married before to my dad, which is total opposite.
Thank God. That's probably
Total
what saved
opposite.
me.
Um, he probably I don't know what he
That's probably what saved me, really. That I knew what real love was and real
yeah.
man and all that stuff. You
But
know.
talk about that. That was interesting because he was like trying to compare my dad and him. I don't know if that's the right word, but he would
It was
say
no
things,
comparison. It really was.
right?
Well, he really didn't know anything because I really didn't talk about my you know, my marriage with your dad. But he would say things. Well, I guess he would. Well, how did he start saying something about the big house or something? Maybe he saw a picture or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because he would it would come up a lot. It was really weird. It would come up a lot about
Hmm.
because my parents owned a couple homes and it's like he knew that, but it was like the jealousy was coming out because he would kind of like say it in a way of you don't really need a big home or
Oh
it
yeah,
just
things
was
like
like
that.
kind
You
of
don't
like
need a nice car. You don't need no car and all. You know all that stuff you paying money for. Yeah, things
right.
like that. Yeah, but actually, being married for 32 years, to one person, and then this person showed up. Wow, what an eye
Yeah,
opener. It
yeah,
and I really didn't think men. I didn't. I really don't know a lot about men per se, but I do now. I'm grateful that I learned this lesson. From this was a hard lesson for me, but I learned it, and I know now if anybody don't even look at me,
mm-hmm,
don't,
mm-hmm.
just don't come up to me saying nothing crazy because I already know before you even, say too many words to me because I just never, I never was out dating. So I didn't know, when this dude came. I mean, it's just saying, could he get my phone number
Mm.
from my brother? And he just, wanted to just talk. And he used that. He milked that. He really used that. And I could tell too, even when he started coming to see me, he was a different person. When he came in person, he was different.
Yeah,
He wasn't
yeah.
this person that he was talking to me on the cell phone, saying all this, sexual stuff and all that. But when he came, he was like nothing. I mean, just it was like dead. I was like, is this the same person? So he had me on a roller coaster from the beginning. I was like,
Yeah.
I said, I don't know. Is this the same person? Was talking to me.
Well, the thing that I have, the statistic, it says that nearly 60% of all marriages to narcissists, male or female, end in divorce. So that's over half.
Yeah.
This
Hmm.
is how tough it is to deal with
To
these
be
type
with
of
those
people,
people. Yeah.
because it is so, the effects are so draining. So it's a miracle that my mom could write a book about it, talk about it in such a short time frame, because usually people, they look broke, busted, and disgusted after dealing with someone like
Yeah.
this.
And
They're
they shut
like,
down.
yeah, they shut down. And the whole purpose of this live tonight is for, if you are dealing with someone like this, um, you can make it out. You can make it out. But you have to come to the understanding of who you're dealing with, and one, not shame yourself, about who you're with. There's no shame,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
there are signs.
Yeah. I had to really fight against that, being shame and embarrassed and all that. But thank God that I'm a believer, and
Mm-hmm.
I've read enough scriptures and stuff to encourage me, but it was tough. It was
Mm-hmm.
tough at the beginning. It was tough because you're like trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah.
What did you do wrong? How did this person come into your life? But I know he came strictly to destroy me. I
Yeah.
know that for a fact because
Especially if someone's going around and lying,
mhm,
and trying to bash your character, because
yeah,
that's really what it
yeah,
is.
yeah, because he's out telling people lies on me. I mean, he even have pastors in his corner. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
talk
just
about that, because there are some times where you have a situation like this, and there's people that turn on you. They
yeah,
kind of like, they
yeah,
don't necessarily say they're on people's side, but I've
but
heard
you
this
can
also.
tell,
Yeah,
you know.
I've heard this also with like abusing relationships with people that were in abusive relationships.
Hmm.
Um they want to leave, but people are not really for them leaving, or they'll say, you should have just stayed. These type of things that are so careless at the time. But what did that feel like when the people, some of them just
Well,
kind of.
it felt bad because I had some people that was so-called my friends. They turned their backs on me. I mean, they just stopped talking to me. Just
Mhm.
they just stopped talking. And then I had people say, well, it's over, don't say nothing else about it, just let it be done. And then I had people where they were on the Bible study with us, and he after now this man, left me. What do you call that when they just leave abruptly?
Abandoned.
Yeah, he just abandoned me, and he's saying that he's a man of God, but these people still like, they still believe him, I guess. And then I went to a church service where he had been going to this church, and these women knew him. And you know what? I thought that was real strange too. When we got married and had the wedding reception, he didn't invite none of those people.
Oh,
He didn't
yeah.
invite any of them. And then
Well,
and
no
I
one.
No, I went to the church, and the one woman that he act like he was close to, she saw me. This is after he had abandoned me. She left the seat. She was sitting in front of me. She left the seat in front of me and went way on to the edge. And I even gave her a seed offering for something that they were doing, having a contest. She went to the edge of the row and didn't come back. It was like I was.
So to give more context, sometimes when you know, sometimes when these are sometimes people when children speak up or people have been assaulted in some type of way, and you go to people and you like say this happened, and they don't believe you.
Mm-mm,
That a lot of that could happen when you're coming out of a relationship like this, and it's very important for you as the person that dealt with it, be intentional about seeking out other people that could either relate,
right.
or they're not going to
Mm-hmm.
judge you, because
Right.
like you said, you had a support system, but you intentionally had to leave the environment.
Right.
And that's something everybody feel like they can't do, because they'll be drowning in um the bad side of it, and they don't want to get out of bed, they don't want to. But it's like you have to persevere and push through,
Right. Right.
even when you don't feel like it.
And another thing too, I'm a person that always walk a lot, exercise and stuff like that. And I just had to slowly get back into my routine and start, just getting back to knowing who I am and really pour into myself with positive, talking and reading and, like you said, being with people that celebrate me and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And I just had to know that, yes, I admit I made a mistake, but guess what?
Mm-hmm.
I never thought in a million years that I would have failed for somebody like this. That's why I know that it was an attack on me, period. Because I'm not saying I was squeaky clean or anything. It's just that I was, call myself living this life, this godly life, and trying to do the right thing. And plus, I wasn't even looking for this person. I wasn't
Right.
looking for no man. I
Right.
was not. I was not looking for a man. I wasn't dating anybody. I wasn't out there looking for anybody. So
Right.
I know that this was an attack from the enemy to destroy me the way it
Yeah,
all came. So,
I'm gonna
yeah.
put more. Okay, so here's some ways that I put in the comments of how you can cope with after you left a narcissist.
No
So
contact.
you went no contact, so you never even
No.
said
No.
anything else.
No.
That's very hard for people to do, by the way. Is go no contact.
Let me
Um,
say something before you finish reading that. Another thing too was um when the person, I know we're jumping way out, but when the person said, I'm coming to get my stuff, he came. I didn't have I didn't talk the whole time. I know that the Holy Ghost shut my mouth. I didn't talk. I didn't give Ro no eyes. I sat at the table. He hauled his stuff out of here, and
how
all
important was that though? You
that
have to
was
share
very
how important.
that was very important not to talk. Don't get, because they want reaction. They want
Mm-hmm.
to see how bad they making you feel and all that. I did not even budge. I didn't even look at the guy. I just said, I just sat there, and
Yeah.
he didn't get all his stuff out. He left things, I think intentionally left stuff. And so, and I hate to keep saying the Holy Spirit, but that's who I listen to, is the Holy Spirit. He said, when he left, he said, get all his stuff. And when he comes back, he said he was coming back, right? He texted. I hauled all that stuff on the porch in the night. I hauled it all out there so he wouldn't come back into the house for nothing. I didn't have no conversation. I texted and said, put my key in the box. That's all I
Mm.
did. I did not have no more conversation. He came, um, you know, pimping on down like he was gonna be coming in. No contact, none. No talking, no nothing.
And usually that doesn't happen. So usually people, they are afraid to have the no contact, so they continue to conversate, and they feel like they're really doing something if they
Right.
say one or two words, but no,
Mhm.
you have to literally not
Right.
talk
Because they don't
because
care
they're
about
ego driven.
right. They
Right.
don't care about you.
So to anticipate potential manipulation afterwards and try to reconnect with old hobbies or passions. This is how you can cope after, not
Mm-hmm.
during, but after.
After.
Write down reasons for ending the relationship
Mm-hmm.
and surround yourself with the right support. Now, obviously, there's way more that you can do, but here's some of the ways that you can cope after you have let go of the person, not necessarily got rid of the person, because honestly, that person, those type of people, narcissistic people, they don't necessarily leave.
No.
Um, they'll like stay to just make you miserable.
Right.
But if they do leave, that's a good thing for you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Um, yeah,
That
that's
was
good
good
for
for
you.
me. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what would you say to the people that feel like they are stuck or they know someone stuck in something like this? First, what should that person say to their friend or family member that they feel is in a narcissistic relationship?
Well,
What would
sometimes,
you
well, actually,
say?
sometimes, there people are not going to say anything to you.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I could say is that I wouldn't have never known what I was dealing with if I hadn't, that's why I think, that God was all with me because of how I found out who I was
Mm-hmm.
dealing with, coming up
Mm-hmm.
on my phone. So if somebody is know somebody in this, they might listen to you and they might not. But you can just maybe give them the information.
Mm-hmm.
If you got some information, maybe give it to them and let them, research further. But
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard. It's really a hard place to be. So I would just say that, if you have a friend and you know that they're going through that, and you have to be prayerful and maybe get directions, from God to even approach them, really.
Yeah.
Or just pray
Yeah.
that they will, someone will come across their path and tell them something, or they'll
Yeah.
see it, you know. Yeah.
Because sometimes doesn't it's tricky because sometimes they're verbally and physically abusive.
Right.
Now,
Exactly.
sometimes they're just mental, but 9 times out of 10, it's gonna always be some type of physical.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's
Right.
just
Right.
what you see time and time again. It might not be on a consistent basis, but they really don't care about anyone. Um, they live a life of kind of like everyone's disposable.
Right. Exactly.
So
Mm-hmm.
when you receive the coldness from them, that's even a form of abuse.
Yeah.
Like the whole jerk effect, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to you one day, then
And
five
then
days
I'm
I'm not
not.
gonna talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
That's a whole jerk
Mm-hmm.
and pull effect. And
Right.
then another thing that they can do is you can realize that you're isolated from family and
Mm-hmm.
friends.
Right.
So it is difficult sometimes when you have someone that's going through this. You can see it from the outside, but
Mm-hmm.
if you ambush them and you say, "Hey, I think you're with a narcissist," they're going to be not happy
They're
with
gonna,
you.
yeah,
They're
they're gonna cut you
they're
off.
gonna, right. They're gonna it's gonna be an offense to them if you
Right.
try to say you're not in a relationship with a good person. Like you
Right.
you you might want to take a look. They're gonna be offensive. Um,
Right.
so if you are the friend, if you are the person on the outside looking in, you just be cautious of
Mm-hmm.
how you're going to handle that, because that person that's your friend could tell their partner how you feel about them over nonchalant talk. Like they could just say, "Hey, excuse me, Kristen, I was talking to her today and she just has some concerns about our relationship." That's a
That's a
big no
no
no to
no.
them. they
Right.
will make they will make them pay for what you
Yeah.
said,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll make
And
you pay
you.
for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because they'll snatch her or him away from you
Right.
and then isolate them even further. So when they know that people are onto them, they
Mm-hmm.
don't really like
Right.
that at all.
Can I say something
Yeah.
else?
Hmm.
And actually too, um, what they do is they start telling people not to talk to you. He actually told people not to talk to me. He told lies in the neighborhood, and just little things like
Hmm.
that. And the people actually didn't talk. I mean, they just stopped talking to me.
Yeah.
Family members. He said,
Yeah.
"Don't talk to them." And that's what they do. They go behind your back and they lie on you, and they try to isolate you from everybody. And see,
Hmm.
this person couldn't really isolate me because I'm real close to my girls and my kids, my grandkids, and all that. So that wasn't working. So he was already done with me, basically.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
needed to go find, another supply, because that's what they call it,
Yeah.
because he was really done with me because I was only married to him a year, I think a year and 5 months, I think it was. And
Hmm.
and so I didn't think we were gonna make a year. That's how rocket was. I didn't even
Yeah.
think I was gonna make a year,
Yeah.
because that's when he kind of like went somewhere and said he'll be back or whatever when he's because he drove
Don't
trucks.
tell the
So
whole book.
yeah, but anyway, yeah,
But
but
no,
yeah, mhm,
what I noticed on the outside looking in is that the routine was switched up. The conversations were short. Um, you know, because they want you to themselves. So it's
mhm,
not a thing where if you're in a relationship with anyone, let's say you're in a relationship with anyone, you're watching this, you're watching a replay, whatever, and you notice that you don't really have that type of friendship with people no more, and then you look up, you're like, well, I don't really go out no more. I don't really,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like
Slowly.
sometimes it could be because you have succumbed to that person doesn't really want you to go out, because the other side of that is they may have other people
Right.
that they're also
Mm-hmm.
doing these signs too. So that could be one thing. Another thing is they just don't want to be found out.
Right.
So they don't want to be around too many people that you really love. Um, then there's other several reasons, but you will probably notice the person that you love that's in a relationship with someone like this, it's gonna be a disconnect.
Right.
Like that's probably one of the first signs as a relative or a friend or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Um, but yeah, this is I want to be sharing this type of stuff on this platform because it's stuff that people like to keep hidden,
Right. They don't want
and
to
it
talk
shouldn't
about it.
be hidden.
Right.
Yeah, they don't want to talk about
They
it.
don't
I
want to
know
talk
this is
about it.
not gonna be comfortable for people. Oh well, but it needs to be out.
And a lot of
So
this is in the church. I mean,
okay,
I'm just saying a lot
now
of
we're getting to a whole other episode.
it's a lot in the church because guess what? Now that I went through this, I can go into any church and look at the husband and wife, and I'll know that something is not right. And
Yeah,
it could be all the way around. It could be maybe abuse, anything. I can tell. I can just tell
well,
by the
that's part of the familiar part of the people like this coming around, because if you've had a past of being in environments such as church with this narcissism, you're going to not really feel like it's wrong. You're
right.
not going to really know like this person is to harm or put me in danger. You're going to feel like, oh, this is familiar. I might
Mm-hmm.
have had someone in church going with me that was cold like this. I just didn't know what was wrong, but I was able to go
Mm-hmm.
home and break away from this person.
Right.
But every week it was something with this person. And
Right.
you're like, what did I do?
Right.
And then you may know someone on leadership that you have encountered that was like this. But don't when you're in those type of environments, you don't want to really call it out. You don't really want to say this person is treating you mean, or this person is like disrupting.
Image. You got
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the
So
image.
you save face for the image.
Mm-hmm.
Um and that's just not what you should do. You
It's
shouldn't
not
hold
good.
that. If your discernment says something is wrong, something is wrong.
Yep. Yep.
So the biggest takeaway, if you don't take nothing else away from this, pray for discernment. That's number one. If after you pray for discernment, you start feeling that, because discernment can feel like that gut feeling you get, like the nervousness, or you're like,
That's your
got
spirit
this.
man. Your spirit man
Okay,
is
yeah,
feeling it. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Don't ignore your
you
spirit man. Mm-mm.
no, because you wouldn't know it was your spirit man back then.
Right.
It, or
Exactly.
if you're not around teaching about
Mm-hmm.
this,
Right.
you wouldn't
Exactly.
know.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it is your spirit man telling you danger, danger, danger,
Right.
danger.
Right. Something is
But
wrong.
then
Right.
you're like love bomb, love bomb, love bomb.
Right. He
And then
cares
your
about me.
spirit's
Right.
like, but hey,
Yeah. I can laugh now, but I wasn't laughing last year this time.
Yeah, yeah. Because it could be confusing if you have
Mhm.
dealt with this. Yes, it is in the church a lot, and that's a whole other episode.
Right, right.
Coming soon, but um yeah, we need to start talking about this openly, especially Black people, African Americans. Y'all got to stop
Everything
acting
is
like we're
secret.
perfect because we're
Secret.
not. We got
Secret.
so many secrets in
Hmm.
all aspects. We have
Everything.
so many secrets, and a lot of these things are being exposed this year as we
Oh
speak.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's because people are fed up. People are
Right.
like, I'm tired of holding on to this shame and guilt and
Right.
fear and
Hmm.
idolizing people.
Right.
And that's another way that narcissists can statistic, how do you say it? Narcissistic
Right.
people can come around you because you can idolize people.
Right.
That's the main way. Like if
Hmm.
you put people on a pedestal,
Right.
9 times out of 10, this type of person is going to come around you and really
Yeah.
destroy your life.
Exactly.
And we are to put nobody on a pedestal.
Nobody.
Everybody is a person that starts out just like you and I.
Just
We
like
all
us.
start as a seed.
Yeah.
And if you are really idolizing people, it could destroy your life.
Yeah.
Um, and that's how narcissistic people
Come
become.
around. Hmm.
Yeah, they become a
Hmm.
part of our stories
Yeah.
because we didn't do the necessary thing of
Things that.
not
Hmm.
putting anyone as an idol. So
Right. Right.
any closing thoughts? But go get the book. It's on pre-order. It's The Stranger I Thought
I
I
thought I
Knew.
knew.
The Hidden Signs of a Narcissist. Who would have thought
Yeah. Boy.
Donna Mann would be writing?
Wow.
But yeah, please get help if you are dealing with this. This is in all seriousness. This
Yeah.
is not
Nothing to play
easy.
with, really.
It's nothing to play with. It's not easy
Mm.
to get over. Um I,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, I just want to say that, people that watch movies and or just watch the news, and when these people go missing, these women usually go missing, and their husbands on there crying and all that, and then they come back and find out that they killed them
Yeah,
because the same thing. This is the
same
same
type of
thing we're
thing.
talking about. This
Yeah.
abuse and stuff. And they don't care. I mean, anytime they don't have no feelings for you. I
Mm.
found out this man had no feelings for me at all.
And
None.
that puts you in danger around these people because they will not care if you are harmed or if they
Right.
just have this thought to do this to you.
Right.
They're going to show no remorse.
None.
So yeah, it's important. um but yeah, we're gonna get off, but definitely support. You can follow my mom on her personal page, Donna Mann. She has another book that she put out last year, and it was called the It's Time to Live the Kingdom Way. And that was one of the first books she wanted to do before this one.
Before, yeah,
Yeah,
he held
because
that up too. Yes.
right. She had this book,
Mm-hmm.
but she wanted to, you know, put that one out. So she put it out. A lot of people ordered it. They read it. They did. It's like a workbook style. And then now this book is for you to know the process of going through something like this. So it's more of a
Eye opener.
teachable,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a guide to get you through, and it's going to really break down the process because people don't really know sometimes when they encounter a narcissist. It's very hard to tell. This is not
They,
this
they
is not
fake.
Yeah, because they'll catch you off guard.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are at in your life, you might be in a
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable place or you might not be in a vulnerable place, because honestly, they go after the successful people. That's their, they set the bar high. They don't really go after people that can't give them nothing. They go after people that have the good job, the people think highly of them. They go after those type of people. So it's an eye opener, and it's not gonna be a long read. It's a short read, but it's straight to the point and it's very meaty. So you'll be able to walk away from that book knowing what to look for. Okay, so it's in the comment section. Go pre-order. We're aiming to have it by the end of the month
Right,
because
right.
I
It's shooting
just want
for.
it out. I want it out, so that she can continue to teach about it, and we can continue to go live, because this the one live is not going to do enough for this topic. It's not.
No.
There's so many signs. There's so many experiences. So I may have more people with my mom come back on and talk about their experience. I know I have my own personal experience, and I didn't know that it was that until 2020. 2021, people's like
Right.
narcissist. I'm like, wait a minute. And
Mm.
that's how I kind of knew
What I
who
was going
you,
through.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And now it's, I mean, they were kind of like doing the same things. But anyways, um, we're gonna get off. So we hope that this was informative, and we will see you on another episode sooner or
Yeah.
later. All right, and follow me at YouTube. This will be up on my YouTube channel, Kristen Nicole Mann. I have my other past episodes on there. I put up the one that I did with Pastor Charles Chewy Thomas, and that was, go rewatch that because that was very good. And yeah, continue to keep up with me there. So have a good
Okay.
night.
All right. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.